Vinod, how do you find the course?
Sarla, the course is very interesting and helpful.
Wonderful. Let us proceed then. In the previous session, we have learned about the business model canvas, its components, and how it helps in preparing a business plan.
Yes, Sarla. Now I can prepare the business plan for my FPO. Do I need to understand any other dimension of business?
Good, Vinod, that you can prepare a business plan. However, every business has an inherent risk. The FPO will be engaged in different business activities. Hence, it is important to know about the possible risk involved so that you can plan accordingly and minimize or mitigate these. In this session, we are going to learn about the various risk factors in the FPO business.
Great, Sarla. It will be very important to understand the risk factors for a FPO and their management techniques.
Vinod, it is important to know about the different risks involved in the FPO business. Understanding the same will help us in forming a strategy to mitigate them. Let me explain the term risk first. Risk is defined as something happening that may have an impact on the achievement of the objectives. A risk can be a threat or even an opportunity. Risks are the most powerful drivers and issues in business. So, something that can impact your current state of work is a risk. And understanding the factors influencing it is important.
Thanks, Sarla, for explaining the term risk. I understand that a risk is defined by the probability of occurrence as well as its degree of impact. Therefore, there is a need to prioritize the risks in your own business. However, these may change with the context of the business activities.
Now, Vinod, let us talk about the risk concerning FPO work. There is a risk at each level of any business activity. We can assign risk to two broad categories. Financial, the FPO's major risk is associated with capital, and non financial. Most FPOs face financial risk.
Yes, Sarla. It will be very important for me as CEO to understand in depth about the identification and management of risk in the FPO business.
It is important to know the various types of risk. Let me explain to you the different type of risk related to the FPO business. There are weather related risk like a flood and heat or cold wave, natural disasters such as a cyclone, an earthquake, or a forest fire. Biological risk, as for example, the bird flu, pest attack, etc. Market related risk, like a price fluctuation. Operational risk, such as strike or a machine breakdown. Policy risk, in terms of import export policy, change in the bank interest rate, the risk of technological obsolescence, and political risk, as for instance, a change in government. Risk can only be managed but cannot be eliminated. Vinod, now you can identify which risks are relevant for your FPO and how to manage these.
Thanks, Sarla, for explaining the different types of risk. I will list and prioritize the respective risks for my FPO's business activities.
Vinod, now let us discuss the basic steps of risk management. These are to identify, analyze, prioritize, manage. First, you have to identify the risk associated to the different activities of the FPO. The next step is to analyze the risk potential by working out its frequency and degree of impact. Prioritize the risk listed based on their degree of impact. Thereafter, you can plan a strategy how to mitigate the risk.
Sarla, I am eager to know the details of the four basic steps of risk management.
Yes, Vinod, we will speak about them by reference to an example. Vinod, let us take the example of Samarth Kisan FPO again and try to identify the risk associated with its different business activities. The risks involved at the input supply stage are shortage of foundation seeds and delay in the input supply. The risk involved at the seed production stage are shortage of skilled labor, adverse weather conditions, and infrastructure breakdowns in terms of power or water for irrigation. The risk involved at the processing level are machinery failure, shortage of skilled manpower. A high demand for leasing machinery increases the cost and production time, and a poor or absent warehouse for the finished goods. The risk involved regarding the logistics are distribution failure, an accident, or seed damage during the transport. So, we have seen the risk involved at the different stages of the activities. Identification is the first step in risk management.
Sarla, you are right. Sometimes we do not know what risk we are facing and therefore we get problems. Their identification is an important step.
Vinod, let us go through the basic steps in risk management with the example of Samarth Kisan FPO. We will look at the business activity input supply to farmers. The FPO identified the risk, unavailability of foundation seeds, and low production of raw seed by farmers. To manage this risk, the FPO needs to conduct timely follow ups for procuring the foundation seeds. To endure an adequate production of the raw seeds, the FPO needs to train the farmers on high quality production and monitoring the production cycle. The FPO should have a good relationship with the seed producing farmers.
Thanks, Sarla, for the wonderful explanation. I will use the risk matrix to identify, analyze, prioritize, and manage the risk at different stages of the business cycle of my FPO.
Perfect, Vinod.
So, Sarla, would analyzing the risk make my business more sustainable?
Vinod, risk analysis would help you to mitigate them and improve your success and sustainability in business. Let us unpack the term sustainability. Sustainability is an approach that balances the environmental, social, and economic aspects to meet the current needs of stakeholders without compromising or overburdening future generations.
Okay, Sarla. So, along with economic aspect, we must look at social and environment aspects as well.
Yes, Vinod. In FPO business, we need to understand how to balance these three aspects. Let us explain with few examples that FPO can adopt for achieving sustainability. Training of farmers with good agriculture practice, including use of climate smart agricultural practices and technologies. The use of System of Rice Intensification SRI, Sustainable Sugarcane Initiative Techniques SSI, Better Cotton Initiative BCI, Micro Irrigation, Organic Manure, and Biofertilizers, Integrated Pest Management, and Chemical Free Cultivation are some activities that member farmers can adopt. This would help farmers in mitigating climate risk, increase crop productivity, and improve soil health and the environment in general.
Yes, Sarla. I have heard about these things in meetings before, but did not realize their importance. This was very useful.
Also, Vinod, these days customers are more aware and have enhanced understanding about environmental issues. Therefore, FPO has to plan accordingly. FPO should focus on sustainable and environmentally sound practices. It should customize its products and services according to the changing preference and needs of customers. This can make FPO business sustainable and also bring socio-environment sustainability.
Thank you, Sarla. This was really insightful. I'll keep these points in mind while preparing business plan for the FPO.
So, Vinod, can you summarize your learning from the session?
Yes, Sarla. My learnings from this session are: there are different types of risk in a FPO business. A FPO has to identify, analyze, prioritize, and manage the risk. Risk management is a continuous process for a FPO. A company must also prepare a business sustainability plan. FPO should plan for achieving social, economic, and environment sustainability in its business plan.